class. My name is Terry, and this is my video presentation for intercultural communication, week 5, assignment A. So you might be wondering why I'm filming this in a car, and that is because all I've been doing this week is driving back and forth to church, and I am currently in the car waiting for a practice to become, and the baby's sleeping, so this was the only chance that I would have possibly to record this. So the reason I'm driving back and forth to church so much this week is because I'm currently the pianist at an Anglican church in San Marcos, and I live in Alpine. And the way that this came about was from me attending the church last week for my cultural experience, and they needed a pianist for this week, and I was hired. So in my presentation, what I discussed was the shocking experience of attending this church compared to what I am accustomed to, which is the Rock Church of San Diego or Horizon Christian Fellowship, which I've been a worship leader or children's ministry director at for almost 20 years. I've never been a part of any other type of church, honestly, as a full-time pianist. So I'm used to leading worship, contemporary worship in the style of Chris Tomlin or Bethel or that style of music. However, this week at the church that I'm currently at is Holy Week. So as many of you are familiar with, but it's very new to me. So we've already gone through multiple services concerning the Epiphany and then the season of Lent, and then we had Palm Sunday. So Tuesday we had a Passover Seder, which I am familiar with because I was raised Jewish. However, tonight is Maundy Thursday, and then we have Good Friday morning, Good Friday evening with a prayer vigil, practice on Saturday, and then Easter Sunday. And so, yes, this is very different for me. There's probably over 50 pieces of music that I've had to learn to pull this week off. So the reason I use this for my presentation is because for many years, as I said, I was a member of non-denominational churches, and I have to be honest that those churches caused me to believe that a type of church like the Anglican church was not a good place, that it was full of liturgy, ritual, meaningless chanting, meaningless music, a rendition of pagan holidays concerning Christmas and Easter and things like that. So before I was visiting this church last week, I was pretty much geared up to have that type of experience and never come back and leave it at that. However, that is not what happened to me. I was asked to fill in on the piano even though I was just visiting, and I became completely immersed in their Sunday service, which was the service before Palm Sunday. The music was beautiful. It just captivated me. There was a lot of music in a minor key, which is more of a serious tone or a deeper tone, musically speaking. There was beautiful chanting, maybe in the style of Gregorian chanting, but very modernized, and I just loved it. I was so challenged on the piano, I could barely keep up. And then we had responsive reading back and forth between the deacons, the father, and the congregation, which I'm also not used to, but I did grow up with as a Jew. So to my shock and surprise, this service was much like I grew up as a young girl and a teenager in a conservative Jewish synagogue. And I will admit to you that it was those things that I have missed all of these years. I have continued to practice the feasts privately, and there's been many churches that have hired me to teach about the different biblical feasts. But other than that, honestly, I've felt like life has been spiritually and ritually empty and kind of void of a rhythm that I was used to growing up. That would have never caused me to leave my relationship with Christ, but it's just been something that I've had to grieve over, let's say. But coming into this church on the previous Sunday for my assignment, I felt like I almost had the best of both worlds. I had what I miss from my Jewish background, but I was still with my church family. Tonight, as I said, will be a brand new service for me. In fact, I haven't really experienced anything that I'm going to experience in the next 3 days. But all of that to say that this did end up being a culturally shocking experience and a heart-transforming week for me. Because, as I said, I have been influenced to think that the Anglican churches, the Episcopal churches, the Methodists, the Lutheran denominations are on the wrong path. And I am here today to publicly announce that I will have to research this for myself at this point, because this is absolutely not what I've been witnessing. And I think it's just the beginning of a long, drawn-out experience for me, full of joy and depth and becoming much closer to the Lord. So I'm excited about this. I never would have thought that my last assignment of my very last class at San Diego Christian College would have religiously and spiritually been the beginning of a new journey for me. But as the Lord would have it, I will always have a very fond memory of this class and what we've learned about respecting other cultures, needing to do research on other cultures, geographies, religions, spiritual thinking before we're making judgments, and therefore causing us to be separated from our brothers and sisters, which is not what Jesus intended. We are called to minister to all people, and what I learned most this week was that we have to learn about those things that we might be afraid of, let's say, or that we have become judgmental about. We need to immerse ourselves in those things to be able to witness to those people. And more importantly, for ourselves, to not become judgmental people, because that only leads to bitterness, depression, even to the extreme of health issues, which cuts off our ministry to our families. And so this has been a great experience for me. I love you all. It's been great being in the class with you, reading the discussions, and I wish you all the best. Many, many prayers to each one of you. Thank you.